Members of the board, general public, this is the September 29th, 2021 meeting of the Board of Estimates. It was already called to order, then placed in recess at 10 o'clock, brought back out of recess at now 10:16. For the record, I am Council President Nick J. Mosby, and we are dealing with the item that could be found on the agenda, pages 55 through 56, item number 7, contract number 8,000. It's the 800 megahertz radio facilities maintenance agreement that has been awarded to Motorola, and this is calling for a 1-year extension. As discussed many times on this board, not just by myself, but also by the mayor and Comptroller Henry, to really do away with the business as usual practices of this board. Not speaking in the vein of ensuring that diversity, inclusion, and equity has been part of the millions and millions and millions of dollars that flow through the city on an annual basis. Does not reflect the characteristics of our city, does not reflect the demographics of our city, and it shouldn't reflect the morals or aspirations of who we are to become in our city. We know that this board has been an instrument of the bigotry that has played out in our city, systemic issues that have forced many problems in our city. And it is us, the leaders of the city, have decided that we will continue to take a new approach. And I think this highlights a need for us to take a reset, for us to allow this to be a beginning point. I'm willing to do the work, Comptroller Henry, as well as to the administration. I think I've proven that since we've all taken office since December, but things have to drastically change. The fact that this extension was put on this agenda and was pulled off by my office to highlight that there was no participation in this was a problem. The fact that we are approaching a critical need of providing these services and this extension needing to be approved because the contract will expire in a day is a huge problem. But I will never put the health, welfare, and safety of the residents of Baltimore in jeopardy, even based off of this unfortunate action from the administration in putting this on, again, the agenda the day before. I think that we are all committed to breaking down the barriers of systemic racism. I think none of us would like to be at the forefront of it. This is not specific to this contract, to Motorola, or anything that we've talked about today. This is just specific to the operations of this body and the way that it's been able to perform for several decades. With that said, I'm going to call on the administration to still provide me with the information. Unfortunately, my electrical engineering telecom background kind of puts me in the middle of understanding and knowing exactly what this type of work is. So I'm really interested in understanding and looking at the output of the analysis of the due diligence of the administration, from the review of the scope of work, and for the items that we feel we do not have a vendor that does not have the certification, the bonding, or insurance capability, or experience. I would like justifications for each item of that scope of work. Definitely interested in understanding and knowing the next steps associated with the RFP. I'm going to demand of the administration that I be part of that from the beginning, so we do not run into this issue come the next contract associated with this particular issue. I'm going to also demand of the administration that we provide particularly critical, urgent items like this, timely access for public discourse on this particular body. Again, I'm not going to stand in the way and play any games and ask for an emergency procurement for these services. We're in the midst of a global pandemic where hundreds of our residents have died of COVID-19. We know that variants are taking off. Our children are afraid, seniors are afraid. So this idea of creating this public scary around not having access for our emergency folks to communicate with one another is not the position of leadership that I'm willing to participate in. With that, we're going to vote this out today, but I would stress to the administration that understand and know this is not to happen ever again. If there's a critical item that we know that it's a critical item, we will provide this board the ability to communicate and have that public discourse to ensure that we are all on the same page, particularly knowing that the administration has 3 out of the 5 votes here.